Hello, welcome to a Curve tutorial video. My name is Natan Cohen and I'm the head of customer success here at Curve. And in this video, we're going to be covering aggregate formulas. So those are formulas, custom formulas that you can create where the inputs to the formula are not the raw data itself, record by record, but rather aggregations of those values. So think sums, averages, and counts. So I'm going to show you an example of how to create an aggregate formula and how you might use it. And I'm going to choose my product inventory dataset and go to the Analyze tab. All right, now formulas, as you may know, are separate from charts. So they belong to datasets. We can build them first and then we can use them in different types of charts. When you click formulas, you will land on the default formulas. So these are formulas where the inputs are columns themselves, so the raw data, not the aggregates. To make an aggregate formula, you have to click right here, Aggregate Formulas. And let's start by clicking New Aggregate Formula. Okay. And right now in the current release, aggregate formulas only support the standardized syntax. And the standardized syntax closely reflects Excel and Google Sheets, so it's really easy to work with. I'm going to do a simple aggregate formula that compares average quantity to the average safety stock level. And why am I going to do this? Because I want to create one metric, which is a simple indicator to figure out whether my average quantity across all my product lines is actually within the safety stock levels. In other words, am I running deficits or am I running surpluses, or is it pretty much close to 1-to-1, right? So if the metric indicator is 1.0, that means I have exactly enough stock that matches my safety stock level. And if it's less than 1, I'm running a deficit. If it's more than 1, I've got a surplus. So this is a pretty easy indicator to build. I'm going to start with the average function. I'm going to add that. All right, and I'm going to find the quantity column. And I'm going to divide it by the average of the safety stock level. All right, and I'm going to call this inventory safety stock metric, right? It's really an indicator, but we're going to build an indicator chart. All right, so I'm going to save that. Of course, if there's anything wrong with the formula, it will let me know before it saves it. Okay, and now I can use it in a chart. Okay, and what I did ahead of time was I took the average inventory stock across all product lines, and then I took the average inventory safety stock across all product lines so that you can see what the numerator and the denominator of this formula is. So just roughly, if you look, I have about half average inventory stock compared to my safety stock level. I would expect my indicator to be less than 1. Right, close to 0.5. So the whole point of this exercise is, rather than 2 indicators and making the users do the division in their head, let's just give them 1 indicator where they can just easily determine where the stock levels are. So I'm going to choose an indicator, and I'm going to put in the aggregate formula. Okay, it's in its own section. All I have to do is add it. I do not change the aggregate type. That's already done. Okay, as expected, it's exactly 0.5. So I'm going to call this stock level indicator. All right, and now I don't need these other charts. All I need is the indicator. Okay, so that's a useful chart. Now I can take this aggregate formula and I can use it in any other type of chart. So let's say I do a bar chart where I want to compare this ratio based on another dimension, right? Maybe size, right? Maybe I'm selling shoes, maybe I'm selling apparel or clothing. So now I can add my safety stock metric up here as the value. And already I see some interesting results. It looks like most of my sizes across my product lines are below the safety stock threshold. And it looks like my standard sizes, except for one, size 70, is orders of magnitude larger than the safety stock. So this is a useful view, but perhaps for a bar chart, I want to see the actual delta between the quantity and the safety stock level. So I can go and I can create a new aggregate formula, which would be the average quantity minus the average safety stock level. All right, and I can call this stock level surplus. Might not be a surplus, right? Might be a deficit, but we'll see. So here I have my second aggregate formula, and I'm just going to swap this out for the surplus chart. Okay, so this is, I think, a better type of aggregate formula for a bar chart, right? It shows me clearly what my deficit is compared to my safety stock level. And now I can see that for standard product fits, it looks like I have, well over the safety stock levels. That might be a good thing. And maybe I'm okay running deficits, that are less than 50, but now I see special size 38 and special size 40 are several hundred less than the safety stock level. Maybe it's time to reorder those. So maybe what I might do is just make this a bit clearer and add some conditional formatting, right? So I get to decide, what's kind of an outlier here, right? So, low stock level. And then I can say if stock level surplus is less than or equal to negative 100, right? Then it's easier to see which products may need to be reordered. And I could potentially drill through from this chart. So we'll call this stock levels by size. All right. So that's an example of how you use aggregate formulas. And you saw me use the aggregate formula in a bar chart, as well as to create a single value metric in an indicator chart. So that's all for this video. Thanks so much for watching.